The FBI officially withdrew from its battle against Apple. They claim they've opened the iPhone of the San Bernardino shooters with help of a third party. That same iPhone that they claimed in the past was absolutely impossible to open without the help of Apple. Well, they found a way. Surprise, surprise. It's an unidentified third party. They're not really saying who helped them out or how they opened it specifically. But, you know, let's remember that the government argued for months and months and months that this was impossible, despite, you know, experts coming out with their own consensus saying, you can open it if you want to.
But we should still trust them. They really didn't think it was possible to open up this phone without the help of Apple. Well, you know, at least Apple had integrity and stood by their decision and said, no, do this on your own. We're not providing you with a root and a backdoor. And what do you know, they did it. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of details over how they did it. People are talking about jailbreak and some of these methods. But the fact is the case has been dropped. And I guess Apple was right all along.
If Apple wants to say, well, hey, look, you're not going to get, you know, the back door, you're not going to be able to access everybody's phones, then they just did it. I mean, they just proved that it is very impossible to get into a phone. So maybe Apple phones aren't so secure to begin with. So what's all the hoopla over? I mean, part of me wants to say, well, this could have been avoided completely, this whole entire fiasco, right? Maybe the FBI and Apple could have sat down privately and talked about it, which I'm sure they did in the beginning, and then Apple said, hell no, and then it kind of blew up. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, why didn't they just listen to them, give them access to this one iPhone in this method that they got it in the end without making this whole public case about it, which leads me to kind of believe, well, maybe in a way this is some, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, let me know, but at the same time, I feel like in a way this could somehow be like a huge marketing ploy by Apple to kind of get people to, you know, update to the newer version so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen, because you can't do it with the newer ones. Luckily, this iPhone was an iPhone 5C.
Sure. I mean, Apple's definitely come out of this looking like the bigger, better, stronger person.
Right,
and I'm sure it will help in terms of their marketing, in terms of their image, their branding. But the fact is that the FBI was asking them not just to open up this phone, they were asking them to create a system, to create a backdoor which would allow them to open up everyone's phone. So this was a question of national security. It was a question of everyone, yours and my, public, you know, our privacy laws, our privacy concerns. And the fact is that Apple said, we're not going to create this backdoor for you. You go about it. There are other methods out there to just jailbreak or whatever it was to open up this one phone. And the FBI said it's not possible. Well, it was. It was,
and I think you're very right, Joe, and that's been proved here by the fact that, you know, they just went and got with a third party in the end anyways, because the whole time the FBI was saying there's no way we can get into it, there's no way we got to get into it. So in the end, who comes out looking like the loser? Well, it's kind of the FBI, because not only did they have to resort to doing the thing that they could have done in the beginning, which everyone was telling them they could have done, but they kind of look incompetent and foolish in a way, right? Because they're claiming one thing, but realized halfway through, or at least pretending that they just realized. They definitely knew this the whole time. Exactly, they knew it the whole time. But apparently, it wasn't as hard as they made it seem. So it looks like, at least for now, that the FBI was lying, and apparently they did want a backdoor to every iPhone, even the new ones in the future.